Hello, everybody. It's time for another Hot Take Tuesday from Pop Speed Digital Marketing. I'm Lori Jo Vest, and I am here with two other Pop Speeders, Molly and Kylie. And today we're going to talk about trend jacking, which makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, why is trend jacking so hot right now?
Well,
Ladies.
Wow.
I think it's so hot right now because I think our generation has never been more ingrained in pop culture, and I think pop culture has never been more accessible than it is today because
Yeah.
of social media, because of television. So I think it's very timely that we're talking about this after the Grammys just a couple days ago. Um, so I think it's something that we often see brands try to um ingrain
Jump on.
themselves into, yeah, kind of jump on. And we see it done very well sometimes, we see it done not so well sometimes, so we figured
Yeah.
it was a good time to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
now, Kylie and Molly, you guys grabbed these images, I think. Tell me what we're looking at here.
Mhm. I think these are some, like, we're gonna go through a few of them here. I think these we pulled some trending viral memes taken from award shows in the past several years, and I think that an easy way to kind of cover what works and what doesn't, and when brands are relevant and irrelevant with the way that they
Mhm.
use them. We thought these were some good examples to kind of cover how maybe we would use them in a way that was successful and unsuccessful. So
Got it.
for
Okay.
me, like I can do Taylor Swift really quick for us. Um, Obviously not the happiest version of Taylor Swift we've ever seen. So if we were jumping on this trend, we would say something to the effect of, oh, when somebody says social media managers jobs are easy, this would
Yeah.
be something
Yeah.
similar to our reaction, just in a joking way. We wouldn't jump on this trend and post it in a way that does not relate to what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be related to your brand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that is a stretch. And there are times as a social media manager, I'll tell you two different things. There are times when you just want to say, absolutely not,
Mhm.
and you'll be correct. And there's times when you'll want to say, absolutely not, and you'll be incorrect when you maybe could have jumped on that trend. And we're going to look at a couple of those in a minute. But it's surprising how many brands can connect to these trends. Like this one, for example. This is what happens when somebody says social media doesn't work to our team. We could
Yeah.
use this in so many different ways. Okay, let's get the wine out because you know what? We know it works, and oh,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating. So frustrating. So let's see what the next one is. Oh, this was a good one.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to take this one, Molly?
Sure. So this obviously very famous Oscars selfie
Best
from a couple
ever.
of years ago
Right.
went crazy, crazy viral. We probably have not seen it in years, but I feel like I can remember countless brands using this well and
Yep.
also not so well
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
this one first went viral.
Yeah, this is a good one. And I could see doing your like taking your whole team and doing a selfie like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Back when this came out, we were in the office. We were all in the
Yeah.
office.
Yep.
Some other
Different
ones that
times.
come to mind as far as like trend jacking. If something happens and you are the expert in that particular area, absolutely take that trend and tie it to what you do. And I'll give you an example that is a little somber, but we have an organization that does grief support for children and families. And when there were so many COVID deaths, one of the things that we pulled from that is how many children had lost parents or grandparents or siblings to COVID. And that was a statistic that got attention to our cause and the service that the client provided. That is the kind of trend jacking or, using, common occurrences and things that are happening in current events to to bring your attention to your brand. It works better if it's something that you're not like. For example, I wouldn't use that for a funeral home.
Mhm.
No, 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 no. Don't touch
Mhm.
it. but for an organization that provides services that help those people, absolutely. Um, the Arby's and Pharrell, we've all seen that, what happened during that Super Bowl. And when when for no, that wasn't the Super Bowl was Oreos. And they lost power in the middle of the game, and Oreos came up with a post that said, "You can dunk in the dark." Oh my God, that's perfect. That was
Yeah.
perfect. And then it was an award show where Pharrell had that funky brown hat that kind of went up,
Yep.
and Arby's said, "We want our hat back." You will not always get those opportunities, but
Yeah.
during those big events, if you have a brand like an Arby's or an Oreos, a pop culture fun Pop Tarts, those kinds of
Yeah.
brands, you really should have a social team at the ready to take that on. And even if you're a company, a local company like a pizza company or a potato chip maker, or have your social team ready for what's going on during those games and events, award shows, things like that, so that
Mhm.
you can grab that opportunity. And then the other thing that happens that gets in the way of some super good trend jacking is that sometimes the approvals take too long and then the moment's gone. Because when
Mhm.
the
Yep.
moment comes, it's the moment. But as for trend jacking on common things, I'm going to give you a couple of, talk about this one. We forgot about this one, Kylie. Why is this?
What you just said, Lori, actually gave me a really good thought on this one as I'm looking at it on my own screen. But in terms of those approvals, this, I think a great example of this, something that would be relevant to us, is screaming, trust your social team, right? We understand the need. We understand the
Yes.
need for approvals in a general sense, but give them the freedom. So that's something we would cover our mouths,
Yes.
use them as a megaphone, and just scream. And then there's ways that, again, as we talked about it, that you could use this that aren't necessarily relevant. If we're a digital marketing team and we're so excited that Taylor Swift just announced she's coming out with another album, doesn't really make any sense for us to post this meme screaming, "Oh my gosh, we love Taylor Swift." How does that help our audience get to know us at all? Even though it might be true, it's not
Yeah.
relevant to our brand.
Yeah. It's always got to tie to the brand. And I'm going to shout out to someone that I absolutely adore that I used to work with. Her name is Bridget McKinley. And she was a strategist on social when I worked in big agency land. And she was always saying, well, how now we need to tie the brands. And the brands we worked on were urinary incontinence brands, Poise and Depend. And she was always saying, okay, here's this really cool thing coming up. We got to tie it to the brand. And I'd be like, oh my God, what are we going to do with this? And it pushed me hard though, because while my initial reaction might have been, oh my God, how are we going to do this? We came up with some really good things. For example, there was an award show, and what we did for Depend, we were trying, one of the purposes of the campaigns we were running was to eliminate the stigma of bladder leaks. 1 in 5 people have bladder leaks. So you want to kind of get that out there, because a lot of people that have that condition are very ashamed. There's a huge shame and stigma around it. So what we did was pull, okay, here's where the awards are being held. Here's how many people will be in the audience. 1 out of 5 of those people have bladder leaks. So we took that statistic and said, 357 people at the Oscars this year will have bladder leaks. And it was weird, but it got a lot of attention. It got a lot of engagement because it was kind of a funky tie-in. And it just, again, brought to the attention of those who were our customers, our consumers, that they weren't alone. And that was the whole purpose of it. And we got some nice engagement on it.
Mhm.
Oh, let's talk about this one. What is she doing?
This is,
I think I've seen this.
just another right goofy little example of trending memes. This is Casey Musgraves a few years ago at the Grammys. She was obviously excited and also confused at the award that she won. So again, I think it all ties into getting creative, staying relevant. So I guess
Mhm.
another example of this, we formerly had a restaurant that was famous for their burgers on our client roster. And so just an example of using this one in a relevant way is, us when somebody tells us our burgers are the best in Detroit. You know what I mean? Like just always staying funny, staying, you want to post it and you want to trend jack, because sometimes it's for, a serious promotion, and then other times it's to show your audience that you're silly and you're fun. And I think this is a really good
Yeah.
example of that.
Yeah. And don't forget, people go on social media to see what their friends and family and, uncles and aunts and coworkers are sharing, not to
Mhm.
look for posts from brands. So the more you
Yeah.
fit in by participating in pop culture moments and trends, the better off you'll be on social media. That's just how it works. So it's an art form. A lot of brands don't get it right. Um, if you stay relevant, stay on brand, and stay timely, you'll be all right. You can take some serious advantage and maybe get something to really blow up and send lots of traffic to your website or, really
Mhm.
increase your brand awareness. So this is an example of one that we did for Depend that I just really loved, because it was actually related to, the Grammy Awards, which we just watched the other night. And it kind of got the attention of, the fact it kind of called out that everybody's there watching the fashions. The first thing I did on Monday morning, I didn't stay up to watch all the Grammys, but Monday morning I was looking at all the dresses and all the fun fashion. And that most of us were on the couch watching it from home. And so this was just a nice little post that fit in with what everybody was talking about, and we really, we thought it was very successful. The client loved it. So let's see. Exactly. Ayana King just said, so true. Have fun with it. Absolutely. Having fun is the what you should aim to do with your social
Mhm.
content. At least a portion of it, significant portion of it.
Yeah.
And then this is another one that it's not so much trend jacking, but it's being in the moment with your consumer. And this was for Poise, and it was related to being super mom, sending the kids back to school. We all know that's a really hectic time. Poise has your back if you have bladder leaks. So it was just, there's a lot of opportunities for brands to jump in, talk about what's out there in pop culture, trade in on the moment, and have some fun with it, make some things happen. So, ladies, anything else you'd like to add?
I have like a pretty local example. So
Go for it.
if you guys don't know, we are all Metro Detroit based, and obviously everyone in Metro Detroit is sad about the Lions. And
Yes.
Ford Motor
Mhm.
Company, the morning after the Lions lost the latest playoff game, posted this amazing reel on Instagram and all over their social
So
media
good.
about
Mhm.
Detroit and how pride is built. And
Yep.
I mean, I don't care about football until about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I have watched that video probably like 15 times.
Yeah.
And as someone born and raised in Metro Detroit, and just the way that they were able to kind of capture the spirit of Detroit, and also
Mhm.
as a Metro Detroit company,
Mhm.
but also tie it back into their branding of building pride
Mhm.
was just really, really incredible, like kind of trend jacking, but also in a
Absolutely.
way that wasn't like, I don't know, like,
It wasn't super sweet. It wasn't snarky.
yeah,
But it was very heartfelt,
Yeah.
very hard. Yes,
right?
that's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for. Yeah.
And it really got across, I thought, if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's the Ford Motor Company, Detroit
It's a
Lions. You'll
great
find it.
video. Yeah.
And it creates this warm and fuzzy feeling with all the Lions fans, which if you don't
Mhm.
know Detroit, Lions fans are just diehard. It
Mhm.
creates this really warm and fuzzy feeling, and there's the Ford logo in the corner.
Yeah.
So it just, emotional attachment, is
Yeah.
always the
Mhm.
name of the game in marketing. So
I
that's
think
all
that's
we
a
have
really
for you
good
guys.
point too.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. I had
No,
one
go
more
for it,
thought on
Kylie.
that. I was just going to say, I think that also just goes to show that, trend jacking doesn't have to be on a national scale for only the big brands. It can, if you're just a
Yeah.
small local brand, it can still hit home. So,
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And there were so many brands that chimed in, local companies that chimed in and said, great going, guys. We'll be here for you next year.
yeah.
And let's close with this. I heard that I think it was Dan Campbell said to Lions fans at the end of the season, get used to that feeling and we'll be back at it next year. So maybe next
Yep.
year we do the Super Bowl. So
Love that.
Yeah.
yeah. So take care, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're here, if you're watching it in the recording, thank you too. And we'll be back every Tuesday at 10 a.m. with a hot take on social media, pop culture, all kinds of things happening in the world. And you can visit our website at popspeeddigital.com to find out more about us. Or you can message me here on LinkedIn. I'm an open networker, as are Molly and Kylie, and get in touch. We love to connect. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.